and ghosties and everybody else who's joining us for this one.
Hi.
And welcome to an annual video on this channel. If you are a ghoul and ghosty, this is kind of a little pause on the spookiness until next Friday. But there may be some spookiness in this, and that is because we are at an antique show. We are like 1 or 2 cities south of where we live. Every year they throw on, for Memorial Weekend, this antique kind of
It's
like
a trader's market.
Trader's market where there's all kinds of vintage things, antique things, garden things, weird, funky, quirky stuff. It's literally just kind of a hodgepodge of anything and everything. We hunt through booths and booths of stuff to just find some treasures.
Which is kind of what we always do, is dig through other people's things to find them.
Yeah, I kind of just take you guys with and show you some of the highlights. If you haven't seen one of these before, Ryan and I are really into like mid-century modern. We're into some of the like Art Deco, some of the atomic stuff. It's like that era of stuff. That's really like what we vibe with. But also we like to find like garden type stuff.
I love a garden ornament.
Of course, anything like nostalgic for us, like every once in a while there's like toys of like shows we used to watch as a kid or something. And then of course you guys know that I'm looking for anything spooky too. So I just show you kind of the fun stuff that we see. There is a chance that after the clips from here, there might be some clips from an antique mall that we're going to tomorrow. We are traveling to a different city that's really, really fun, and we're doing that for Memorial Day, and we are going to go to a really, really big, fun antique mall there. So that might be in this as well, possibly. But we are gonna hop in.
Won't stop yet, but I'm gonna start looking.
And do some treasure hunting. I thought this was really nice. A bird had nested in the grass parking lot, and so they blocked it off so nobody would miss her. This definitely looks like a car I would expect to see in the parking lot of something like this. The first thing I noticed when I walked in was this mug that says, "I'm not greedy, but I like a lot." This booth had some framed antique board games, which I thought was such a cool look. That would look awesome in a kid's room or a game room. We spotted some bulldogs walking around. One was named Waffles and one was named Butters. This definitely reminded me of my mom's kitchen. Notice this kitchen will be closed because of illness. I'm sick of cooking. My first spooky sighting was this motion activated screaming greeter face. Very 90s, very funky. I love this Miller High Life sign. Ryan and I had always wanted one, and actually Ryan's parents had one and ended up giving it to us, so we do have this sign. Both of us totally had our attention caught by these chairs. They are so cool, but unsurprisingly, they actually already had a sold sticker on them. Ryan then spotted these spooky tiki cups. These are so cool, and I love the color and face of them, so we actually did pick these up. We bartered them down just a little bit. This table had some other really cool stuff though too, like this small chair and this planter that looks like a bowling ball and bowling pins. I totally love that. I was actually kind of tempted to pick it up. I like these glass pears too. This booth had some plastic vampire fangs, and they also had this vintage Frankenstein mask. I thought it was really cool, but I have seen stuff very similar to this on eBay for pretty good deals. They also had this doll that said Casper on it. It doesn't really look like Casper to me, but I assume it's supposed to be Casper the Friendly Ghost. The booth also had a bunch of really cool vintage typewriters and radios and electronics. I thought they were so aesthetically pleasing. Also, this little pub glass kind of lamp situation was cool. The next booth had some really cool atomic and mid-century looking items, like this salt and pepper shaker. I love that everything back in the day had to say what was in it. There was this set of witches ceramic shoes at this booth. They were a good price, but they definitely weren't vintage or antique, so I didn't get them. This Budweiser frog banner was really cool. We actually got a Budweiser frog magnet here last year, and I wonder if it was from the same booth. It's cool that this is not only an antique and vintage market, it's also a maker's market, so you see all kinds of garden decor like this as well. This booth had a bunch of metal and iron pieces, so of course I was drawn to the skulls. They also had some spiders. I thought this was really cool too, but I actually got something just like this in Salem. And I think last year I saw this as well. There's this cool devil decal. I always am tempted to get him, but 40 bucks just seems too high. The same booth had these little Michelin Man. They are so cute. I couldn't get over them. This was some kind of acrylic sink. I love the koi fish detail to it. I don't even know if this is usable, but it was cool. This was a really, really pretty coffee creamer or coffee dispenser, not really sure. This tugboat teapot was adorable. I love that the smoke is the handle. It's so clever. There were all kinds of shakers and wobblers on this table, but I did spot a ghost and a Pumpkinhead Man. I've been looking all year for horror VHSs, and I've had a really hard time finding them. This was the only booth I found VHSs at, and unfortunately there were none. I did not expect to see Pokemon cards here. Thank goodness they're not antique, or I'd feel real old. Ryan's grandpa used to make woodwork like this, so this stood out to both of us. It was really cool. I did find a life-size skeleton. He definitely wasn't an antique, but he was just hanging out, just browsing and perusing. He had a sign that said "Stay Weird," which I thought was very fitting. This ceramic fish vase was really cool. I love the colors to it, and 25 didn't seem too crazy. Plus, I love the colors to this vase as well. The blues and purples are gorgeous. And the scariest thing I'd seen here yet were these weird trolls. I do not like them. These were such cute salt and pepper shakers. They were like baby vegetables. I also really like the hippo ones too. Plus, I think my favorite was the Heinz ketchup ones. They did have a scarecrow one. I have a feeling he used to hang up on some kind of rack. Also, he was missing his partner. I spotted a Boo Bucket, but I don't think that's a vintage one. And this Pac-Man was really fun. I like that his shirt said "Eat You Up." Ryan really liked these little chicken embroidered napkins and coasters. Finally, my first spooky blow mold sightings. Of course, they are the classic jack-o'-lantern ones. Definitely the most common Halloween blow molds there are out there. I've actually had a handful of those in my life. My parents have them. A lot of my neighbors have them. These were some really cute Christmas tree stars, though. I thought these recipe tins were really cool. I like the one with the lobster on it, and I love the color of this orange and pink and purple one. We need a new case for our Yahtzee game, so we were kind of looking at stuff like that. Also, these salt and pepper shakers that were a washing machine and dryer were really cool. Who remembers these textured plastic Halloween hanging things? I don't know what you call them, but definitely unlocked a memory. I loved this ice bucket and its legs. Ryan and I kind of collect ice buckets, and we definitely have too many, so we didn't grab this. I also liked these coasters that were shaped like eyes. It's another thing that we have way too many of. I didn't film it too well, but we did pick up these glass penguin stir sticks. This acrylic container gave me luxurious 80s bathroom vibes. This table had all kinds of really cool, really fun ceramics and porcelain. We don't really need anything like that, but this tea set was so cute. Just like, what would we do with it though? I spotted another blow mold, and what do you know, it's the same jack-o'-lantern. Not to say these are all from the same year, but they definitely were made in a large quantity. I also always like the Hamm's beer stuff. I don't even drink Hamm's beer, but I just like the aesthetic. This was another spooky item, this kind of scarecrow fold open thing. It wasn't in very good shape, so I did pass on it. These were some handmade like treat bags. I wasn't sure if the person who owned the booth made them or if they were actually old, but they definitely weren't something I felt I needed. This was really cool. It was basically a tabletop bowling game. I would love to own this if I had a mansion. Nothing in this booth really stood out to me necessarily, but I thought the setup of the booth was really cool and super professional. Everything just went together super well. Then we stopped for lunch and we had some basically potato olays with burritos. They were actually so good and not that expensive. And while we were eating, someone was carrying a tortoise around. The things you see at an antique and maker's market. This was a kind of horrifying, really old Easter blow mold. And my dad used to love this Frankenstein decor piece. I think he still has it. This leaf thing was actually a lamp. I don't really understand how it worked. Found some vintage trick-or-treat candy bags. So cute. I do actually own all of these ones, so I didn't need them. Ryan found this fishnet leg. I don't really know what it was, honestly. And we saw these really cute French bulldog vintage pieces, and the owner of this booth told us all about all of this antique and vintage French bulldog stuff, which honestly I didn't even know existed. Okay, now we're talking. Look at these folk style, vintage looking Halloween pieces. 2 of them were Department 56, and I believe one was Bethany Lowe. The 2 in the back, I didn't honestly know who made them, but I love them. The same booth had these horrifying fruit. This was a blow mold of Spuds MacKenzie for Bud Light. This was so cute. I've never seen a blow mold that's not like holiday related. And these I've never heard of, but they obviously appear to be knockoffs of Goosebumps. If any of you know, I would love to know about them. Another spooky piece, this skull front door plaque. And we found this onyx green top hat planter type thing. It was really cool. We always are drawn to green onyx. Another booth that I just loved the setup of. I could honestly hang out in this living room for hours on end. This was such a cool piece as well. It was a billiards inspired shelf where literally every aspect of it was inspired by billiards. This dummy just hanging out in the middle of the forest was quite ominous. And another booth had one of those paper fold-out vintage pieces. They had a couple other cardboard pieces, but they definitely weren't as old as the stuff I like. This metal owl was so cool. I would have loved to get him for our garden. Ryan really liked the floral pieces, but they also had some animals too. I thought this was really creative. This guy uses old sewing machines to make little tractors for your lawn. Super cool. And this booth was right up my alley. This was outdoor metal pieces that this person cuts to look like jack-o'-lanterns and Frankenstein. They had floral ones and they also had some Christmas ones, but you guys know I was here for the bats and the pumpkins and the skulls. They had this skeleton made of tools and wrenches as well. And the bats you could even hang up. I may have grabbed one. These Beanie Babies were preserved very well. My mom used to have the witch, I used to have the hammerhead, and I don't know if I've seen the bear before. These vintage trick-or-treat bags were so cute. I may have went home with those too. And I've never seen something like this, but these were some bird seed holders made of teacups and saucers. This Boston Terrier statue reminded us a lot of our French Bulldog Will. On to the next day, and this is a look at the antique mall that we went to. The first thing to catch my attention was this booth that had these jack-o'-lantern pieces and really, really cool vintage Halloween pieces. They knew what they had because these were all priced very high. I'm pretty sure this person just took this Burger King sign off of those highway food signs. Well, after that, to lighten the mood, I found this Easter cute little vintage antique card. It's actually really antique. It's from 1912 and it's very over the garden wall. Another spooky accordion fold-up. It's just a pumpkin, so it's probably more for Thanksgiving, so I didn't grab it. This was such a cool giant cherry statue. It was priced very high, but I liked it. This was a very questionable cover for some lullabies. That wind creature looks horrifying. Ryan found some crayons that were candles called crandles. How iconic. Finally, some flip-flops that'll fit my feet. These were huge, and they were actually Mike's Hard Lemonade advertisement pieces. There were some more spooky pieces upstairs. This was some pretty good stuff too. I actually have some of this, so again, I didn't grab any, but it was cool to see. On the third floor, they have a bunch of furniture. Ryan really liked these two chairs, and I like this patchwork one. Of course, it wasn't in the best shape, but I liked the colors. This was a really funky mirror as well, but everything up here is very pricey. This was kind of off-putting. It was an egg with legs. It's a egg. Technically, this was an old ashtray stand, but I thought it would make such a cool lamp. The top looks like Saturn to me. And they had some Christopher Radko ornaments, including some spooky ones. If there were some that I liked a bit more, I definitely would have picked them up, but they didn't have too many. Here is something I did pick up though, this vintage printout of easy to make Rice Krispie treats for the Halloween season. I love the graphics. All hail Santa. Well, everybody, that is all that we have for you today. So ghouls and ghosties and everybody else watching, thank you so much for coming along to our 2 antique shopping stops in this video. Let me know if you liked it and if you want us to continue doing it each year. This has been kind of an annual thing for at least 3 years, maybe 4 now. But we always love going to the antique and makers market. It's so much fun and we always go home with quite a few things, which we did once again. Just let us know if you want to keep seeing these. And to the ghouls and ghosties specifically, get excited because next week's video, that is right, 7 days from today, 1 week from today, is going to be the Haunt Hunting 2025 shopping guide. And I have already filmed it and I'm super excited about it. I am so pumped. Like, I can't believe we're starting the spooky season on this channel already. So, ghouls and ghosties, I will see you next week for that. Everyone else, thank you so much for coming, and I will see you when you choose to see me next. Goodbye.